World War II wasn't just a battle of soldiers on the ground. It was also a war waged in the skies. Among the countless planes that roared through the clouds, a select few stood out, not just for their firepower, but for the fear that they struck in their enemies. These were the machines that could turn the tide of battle and haunt those who faced them. Today, we'll dive into the 5 most frightening planes of World War II, from the best flying fighter jets to the downright terrifying. These planes earned their place in history, creating nightmares for their enemies. On number 5, we've got the Vought F4U Corsair. Remarked as one of the deadliest fighter aircrafts of World War II, the Vought F4U Corsair has a kill ratio of a staggering 11-1. The Corsair was first used in World War II with the idea of gaining an advantage over the Japanese and Koreans with a fighter plane that would also back up attack for the ground forces. The Vought Corsair has a kill count of 2,140 enemy fighter planes. The Corsair was pretty impressive for its speed as well. It could fly at a sky-tearing 454 miles per hour with a maximum range of 900 miles on internal fuel capacity. Talking about the capacity of armaments, the Corsair could carry 8 5-inch high-velocity fighter rockets. Besides, most variants of the Corsair carried 6 50-caliber M2 Browning machine guns. And to unleash carnage on the ground, this beast could carry up to 4,000 pounds of bombs. That is why the Japanese named the Corsair Whistling Death. The Corsair was among the most feared American fighter planes among the Japanese pilots. Introduced in 1943 against highly skilled Japanese fighter pilots, the Corsair proved to be an indestructible force. To the horror of the Japanese, no plane could stand against the wrath of the Corsair. After just 1 year of its rollout, it had clean swept the enemies flying over the Pacific. To power up, the Corsair had a Pratt & Whitney R2800 18W, the most powerful engine of the time. Corsair features an impressive inverted gull-wing design, even though the inverted wings were meant to add to the stability when landing on carriers. It made it difficult to access the cockpit. Plus, visibility was a problem during landing, which led to many crashes. But there was one more plane which surpassed the Corsair in terms of speed, performance, and impact. At number 4, we've got the Grumman Hellcat F6F. Boasted as one of the most lethal fighter planes, the Hellcat featured one Mark 13 torpedo to take out enemy carriers underwater, 1,800 kilograms of bombing capacity to support attacks on ground, and unguided rockets to stand tall against the enemy arsenal in aerial battles. The Hellcat beats the F4U when it comes to the kill ratio, scoring 20-1 when the war ended. That made it a formidable force in the night sky, roaring with breakneck speed and sending chills to the spine of rival pilots. For most variants, Hellcat could clock in at a sky-tearing speed of 388 miles per hour, which could go up to 417 miles per hour for its top variant. However, this variant was never mass-produced as the war ended earlier. Featuring the same engine as the Corsair, the Hellcat F6F had 2,000 horsepower, which made it the equivalent to the best Japanese fighter planes of the time. The Hellcat was primarily a fighter aircraft made to go on board carriers. Nicknamed as Zero Killer, the Hellcat was specially designed to give an edge to U.S. pilots over enemy aircraft. The design prioritized pilot safety with a bulletproof windshield and a 96 kg cockpit armor. The Hellcat's impact on the war is partly due to the massive success of the Corsair, which made Japan's experienced pilots vanish in a span of just a year. The Hellcat flew 66,000 sorties and was mostly launched through carrier operations, making it more competitive than other fighter planes. Hellcat was introduced in the war to combat Japanese superiority. The advantage came with flying the plane at higher altitudes and chilling speeds. It was easier to operate and specifically designed for sorties via carrier operations. It was launched to nullify the impact of Japanese Zero fighters in the war, and so was nicknamed the Zero Killer. To some, the kill ratio of the Hellcat seemed exaggerated at the time, but as per official sources, nearly 50% of all aerial victories in the Pacific Ocean were scored by the devastating Hellcat. The Grumman Corporation produced 12,275 aircraft during the war. Even more important, the Hellcat scored 5,163 victories in the war alone. At number 3, we've got the HE-219 Uhu. The Heinkel HE-219 Uhu, or Owl, was a revolutionary night fighter developed by Nazi Germany during World War II. Introduced in 1943, the Uhu was specifically designed to counter the growing Allied bomber threat during nighttime raids. The Uhu was armed to the teeth with an array of 20mm and 30mm cannons, including an innovative upward-firing Schragmusik system that allowed it to attack bombers from below. This unique feature gave it a deadly advantage during night encounters. With a top speed of 416 miles per hour, the HE-219 Uhu was one of the fastest night fighters of its time, capable of intercepting even the speediest of Allied bombers. The aircraft was a two-seater accommodating a pilot and a radar operator. This setup added to the prominence of the 219 for night combat missions. The HE-219 Uhu was primarily a night interceptor, tasked with defending German territory against Allied bombers during nocturnal raids. Its advanced radar system allowed it to detect and engage enemy aircraft in complete darkness. With its sleek, twin-engine design and forward-swept radar antennas, the Uhu had a distinct and menacing look. Its ergonomic cockpit layout was also praised for enhancing pilot efficiency. While German pilots admired its performance, the Allies feared its effectiveness. However, some critics noted its high production cost and limited numbers. The HE-219 Uhu excelled in night defense missions, achieving significant kills against Allied bombers. Despite its capabilities, production delays and resource shortages limited its overall impact. The Uhu's most notable achievement was its role in disrupting the British bombing campaigns of 1944, where it demonstrated its ability to outmaneuver and destroy Lancaster and Halifax bombers with precision. Coming up next, we've got a plane that not only defended great, but dominated both air and ground combat. At number 2, we've got the North American P-51 Mustang. The P-51 Mustang was developed by North American Aviation in 1940, initially for the British Royal Air Force. By 1943, it became a preferred choice for the U.S. Army Air Forces, especially for long-range escort fighter. Armed with 6 50-caliber M2 Browning machine guns, the Mustang could deliver devastating firepower against both air and ground targets. With a maximum speed of 437 miles per hour, the Mustang was a fast and agile fighter that could outpace many enemy aircraft. The P-51 typically housed a single pilot equipped with long-range fuel tanks to extend its operational radius. Initially designed as an air superiority fighter, the Mustang's role evolved into bomber escort and ground attack missions. The Mustang's iconic bubble canopy, streamlined fuselage, and powerful Rolls-Royce Merlin engine gave it a distinct and aerodynamic profile. Praised by pilots for its reliability and performance, the Mustang was regarded as a game-changer in the air war over Europe. Axis forces, however, viewed it as a formidable adversary. The Mustang's primary role was as an escort fighter, protecting Allied bombers on missions deep into enemy territory. It also performed ground attack operations with sublime precision. The P-51's most significant contribution was its ability to escort bombers on raids over Germany, dramatically reducing Allied losses. With over 4,200 aerial kills, it earned a legendary status. The P-51's massive upgrade for the World War came in the shape of the Apache A-36. The A-36 Apache, a derivative of the P-51 Mustang, was North American Aviation's first ground attack version. Introduced in 1942, it saw action in North Africa and the Mediterranean. Equipped with 6 50-caliber machine guns and underwing bomb racks, the A-36 was designed for close air support and ground attack missions. The Apache had a top speed of 365 miles per hour, slightly slower than the P-51 due to its dive brakes and armament. This single-seat aircraft could carry up to 1,000 pounds of bombs, making it effective for tactical strikes. The A-36 was a dedicated dive bomber and ground attack aircraft, providing crucial support for ground troops. The Apache's design mirrored the Mustang, but included dive brakes on the wings, which were essential for precision bombing runs. Pilots appreciated its ruggedness and accuracy, though some criticized its vulnerability to enemy fire during low-altitude missions. The A-36 played a crucial role in supporting Allied ground forces, particularly in campaigns in North Africa and Italy. The Apache's most significant impact was during the Sicilian campaign, where it destroyed numerous Axis vehicles and infrastructure, paving the way for Allied advances. We've already mentioned 4 of the scariest fighter planes of World War II. Now let's introduce the apex predator, the P-61 Black Widow. The P-61 Black Widow, developed by Northrop, was the first American aircraft designed specifically for night combat. It entered service in 1944 and quickly proved its worth in both the European and Pacific theaters. Armed with 4 20mm Hispano cannons and 4 50 caliber machine guns in a dorsal turret, the Black Widow was a fearsome adversary. With a maximum speed of 366 miles per hour, the P-61 was fast enough to chase down enemy aircraft during night missions. The Black Widow had a crew of 3, a pilot, a radar operator, and a gunner, optimizing its performance during complex night operations. The P-61's primary role was as a night fighter, using advanced radar systems to intercept enemy bombers and fighters in complete darkness. The Black Widow's twin-engine, twin-boom design, combined with its large radar dish in the nose, made it a distinctive presence in the skies. Highly regarded by its crews for its advanced radar and heavy armament, the P-61 was a symbol of technological innovation. Enemies often struggled to counter its night fighting capability, thus it was unmatched. The P-61 excelled in night interception and ground attack roles, particularly in the Pacific, where it disrupted Japanese air operations. The P-61's biggest contribution was its role in safeguarding Allied troops from nocturnal air raids. Its ability to neutralize enemy bombers during night missions solidified its legacy. That's it, friends. The planes mentioned in this video were more than just machines. They were symbols of innovation and resilience. Their legacy reminds us of the bravery and ingenuity that shaped history during World War II.